What's up, everyone? Jeremy here from, the Jeremy Hambley channel. You may have seen me on other channels, Cornering, Unsleeved Media, RC Nightmare, whatever. But this is my personal channel, and I hope that you'll subscribe down below. There's been some hilarious effing around and finding out going on this weekend that I just had to share it with you, including a Job of the Hut-shaped liberal getting out of her car to yell at ICE agents, only to have it roll backwards into a lake. The amount of joy that I feel from seeing this clip, I just hope it translates to you, and I hope that you'll sub to the channel. And most importantly, you will go over to thecornering.com/join and join our members area and get into the Discord so we can talk directly. I know people are like, I don't know how to use Discord. There's a million videos on YouTube. It's very intuitive, just a chat room, but I definitely want to see you in there. So let's start with the funny. Woman gets out of her car without putting it in park to yell at ICE agents making an arrest. Car rolls into the lake and sinks, according to Fox News. This incident happened in Upton, Massachusetts. You can see the ICE agent right there.
Look at this, Lucy. Her car got lost.
And she is the typical obese white woman. This is unbelievable. Raging anti-ICE protester forgets to put car in park, watches it sink into a lake while yelling at an agent arresting an illegal. Anti-ICE protester in Massachusetts forgets to put her car in park while yelling at agents making an arrest for an illegal alien, and her car rolled into a lake and sank. It happened in Upton, Massachusetts, a small town in Worcester, I don't know, I assume that's right, 40 miles west of Boston. In the clip, a voice can be heard saying, "Well, that sucks. Look at that, Lucy, her car got lost," as a woman's car drifts farther into the water. An officer can also be seen passing in front of the camera with what looks like a person in handcuffs. I mean, it looks like the Emu and Doug won't cover this one. Ask Soros for the money. He's got it, and she was doing his work. She needs to be charged for every penny of municipal cost, environmental cleanup, and interfering with federal officers. Also, she should eat a salad as soon as she's incarcerated. Now, I don't think they're probably going to arrest her, but it's karma. Charge her with littering, and if the county has to pull it out, make her pay for the service. Should be around $1,000, depending on how deep the water is. Not just littering. The EPA should test that lake water for gasoline, brake fluid, motor oil, or whatever else also leaked out of her car, then bill her for the cleanup charges. I mean, you just absolutely love to see it. But in little more serious notes, over the weekend, feds have charged 4 people following ICE protests in Broadview, including 2 of them who were carrying weapons. Of course, they allegedly had lawful permits, but I'm not exactly sure. I thought Chicago was a weapons-free zone. The Department of Homeland Security publicized the discovery of 2 firearms on social media in a post on Sunday. Federal criminals charges federal have been filed against 4 people detained during protests Saturday outside the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility in Broadview, including 2 people who were carrying firearms there with, quote, lawful permits. A 3rd person also allegedly admitted threatening the life of U.S. Border Patrol officer. However, video taken by the Chicago Sun-Times during the protests appeared to contradict at least one account outlined in a series of newly filed criminal complaints. The charges come after Attorney General Pam Bondi said on social media that Justice Department would seek the most serious available charges against all participants in these criminal mobs that appear wherever ICE comes under siege. She did so after a shooter opened fire in the ICE facility in Dallas. I think that's totally reasonable. Now, to be clear, here's a liberal in me coming out, right? These people should be allowed to protest at ICE facilities as long as they're on public property and they're peaceful. They're allowed to call them names. They're allowed to, do whatever they want, but they are not. I saw the pictures. It was handguns and also it was fireworks, large fireworks meant to throw at the ICE agents. So now these people have federal charges, and I 100% support that. Now, I don't support, arresting people for just being at the protest, but if you break the law, if you put your hands on an officer if you don't lawfully disperse after you've been told to disperse or whatever the case may be, if you're lobbing fireworks at them, I never understood the fireworks thing. That should be a serious charge. You could take someone's life that way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Also, protesters clashed with ICE agents as Trump deploys federal troops to war-ravaged Portland. Federal agents began arriving in war-ravaged Portland, Oregon, over this past weekend after President Donald Trump ordered the military to deploy in the city. With at least one clash already erupting outside of an ICE facility, an immigration and custom enforcement officer was seen Friday shoving a protester to the ground. Another demonstrator was detained as agents confronted crowds outside the Southport. So now these people want to be there in these funny suits and protest in their Trantifa pajamas. Totally fine. 100% fine. They can look as goofy as they want. They can yell whatever they want. They can stomp their feet. They can chant. All of that. 100% support their right to do so. What you aren't allowed to do is lob fireworks at ICE agents. What you aren't allowed to do is, storm the building. You can wear a sign that says F off feds. That's fine. Totally fine. But the thing is, like, these are the people who are not getting, these people aren't getting arrested. It's the people who are, attacking the buildings. In an early morning Truth Social post on Saturday, Trump said he authorized full force to protect what he called war-ravaged Portland and federal buildings under siege by Antifa and other domestic terror groups. Mayor Keith Wilson, speaking at a late-night press conference Friday, said, "We now have a sudden influx of federal agents in our city. We did not ask for them to come. They are here without precedent or purpose." What that mayor is doing is inciting people to attack these federal agents. You get that, right? That's part of what I'm going to do on this channel is I'm going to decode what these people are saying. That's not exactly a real thinker. I think most people probably understand that's what they're up to here. But like, that is what they're up to. The mayor is basically telling their own citizens, green light, you can go attack these ICE agents. We don't want them here. We don't want them. Please keep voting for me. Residents reacted sharply to the deployment. David Schmidt, who lives near the ICE building, told every night there's tons of protesters basically being vagrants on the street. They're making noise constantly when nobody from ICE is even outside. So the people that live there are thanking the ICE officers, by the way. Others warned that the federal presence could escalate unrest. Well, look, if they want to go to prison, they can go to prison. Nobody's going to stop them from that. I just remember watching night after night in 2020. I'm just worried that we're going to see things blow up here like they did in 2020. Said Ocean Hoso Jasso of Portland. His name's Ocean. Okay. Pentagon officials did not immediately respond to requests for information. According to the AP, a political report said the order came as a surprise to many inside the Pentagon. Well, we should send federal troops there to protect our federal buildings. I don't have any problem at all with that. I also don't have any problem at all with people protesting. But I mean, how long after we declare this group, a Terry group, how long after that do we actually start arresting them? Because I think that most of us are have been waiting patiently. There are people, they're allowed to protest. I don't have any issue with that. But if they're hitting the vehicles, if they're impeding the vehicles, if they're hitting the officers, if they're firing off fireworks, they go to prison. That's the deal, isn't it? Well, it's the deal with free speech. That's the deal with free speech. And I realized I used the wrong overlay for this entire video. Oops. There's no insurrection. There's no threat to national security. There's no need for military troops in our city, the mayor said. She stressed the Oregon National Guard was prepared but not needed. Wilson reiterated that the number of necessary troops is 0 in Portland, as is every other American city. Well, why are so many people thanking the troops for being there? Because they are being held hostage by these Antifa types. Now, I don't know if everybody who's here protesting is Antifa. I don't want to make that assertion. But, business leaders spoke out. Portland is a city on the rise. We're working to tackle our biggest challenges together, and that does not need federal troops. Well, are you though? Are you though? it took me 3 years to plan and save money to move away from Portland and Oregon. But in 2018, my wife and I finally got out. My daughter finished college a year later and got out with us. It took me another year to reclaim my son. They never looked back, and their lives have been a steady success. The same as leaving Chicago. People are leaving these cities, and the only people left are like these aggressive losers that basically run the streets unfettered. Trump's had enough. Regular law-abiding citizens have had enough. And, you know, again, back in 2020, there was a repeated attack on a federal building that continued nightly for 6 months. The same people would show up night after night and clash with law enforcement. I think Trump is going to respond with overwhelming force to end this quickly. I agree. Like, we let these idiots make everybody have to live in their war zone. Here's some Antifa thugs starting to scream as they get a little spicy sauce. A little spicy sauce. Okay. Ah, let me hear that again. Should have dispersed. I don't have any problem with it. Hopefully you'll join us in the members area so we can talk directly and you can share stories directly with me too over at thequartering.com/join. We'll talk to you again real soon.